Hi team, Coach Alexa here, coach for Reading, South Oxfordshire and online. I'm risking jinxing it, I'm afraid. The sun is out, so I'm going to do a video on sunscreen, which will probably mess things up horribly for this bank holiday weekend weather-wise, so apologies in advance. As runners, we often spend a lot more time outdoors than your average person. So I thought I'd do a bit of a recap on sun cream. When I'm not being a running coach, I'm a sports massage therapist, and when you get to see people's skin, you do notice the amount of sun damage that you can accumulate through your life. So it's worth just being aware of and sort of taking the necessary precautions with. So lots of different types of sun cream out there. This is my favourite, P20, because it just stays on for longer and it offers a really fantastic protection from a lot of different types of well, the two key different types of radiation effectively that we get from the sun. But most other stuff, you know, that you can buy in Boots or whatever are all good, but it's worth just understanding a little bit more about what the two different key types of radiation that cause skin damage are, and what to look out for on the labels on the backs of these bottles. So I guess that to set the scene, the sun is a massive nuclear explosion. I'm not joking at all on that. It's a massive nuclear inferno. It's just a very long way away, but it's so big that we still obviously feel the effects of it in terms of its warmth, and as you will know, if you sit in the sun for too long, it will burn you still, even though it's literally trillions of miles away. So the thing that burns you is what's called UVB. So it's a higher intensity kind of frequency of radiation. So it doesn't really go deep into the skin, but it will cause sort of high level burns on the skin. It's what gives you that sunburn, and it's also the type of radiation that's more linked with skin cancers like melanoma. So when you look at the ratings on a bottle, SPF is usually what ties in with your UVB protection. So you can get different ratings. Obviously, most people are familiar with, you know, sort of SPFs as, you know, 20, 30, 40, 50. You can also get a sort of star rating associated with those, or a kind of plus rating associated with those. So that's obviously really useful to prevent burning and reduce your risk of skin cancers and melanomas. UVA, however, is kind of a lower frequency radiation, but it penetrates deeper into the skin, and that's the one that's more associated with aging the skin cells. So that is what will give you freckles, age spots. I know, you know, I accumulate a larger number of moles and little sort of different coloured sort of patches on my skin, and that is all coming from the UVA. So UVA protection is not actually something that's covered in the SPF. It has its own separate star rating. So here perhaps you can see there's a little round thing with UVA at the top, and this one's 5-star. The same factor, both factor 30s on this Nivea, has a UVA rating in small print on the back as being 4-star, so still pretty good, but this one will protect the skin from aging better than the Nivea with. So it's worth just bearing that in mind, the fact that UVA and UVB are different. UVB is reflected in this SPF rating and is what is linked to the burning and the skin cancer, but if you want to avoid skin aging as well, just generally looking a bit splotchy as you get older, then having something that's got that UVA rating in too really helps. Another thing to think about, which a lot of people sometimes don't consider, is the top of your head. So I have a little sort of, not parting with my haircut, but I've got a little bit where the sort of hair kind of swirls out from up here. That can get sunburnt. So sunburn on the scalp is something, for example, some hairdressers are trained to look out for melanomas and skin damage on the scalp because of that. If you have sort of thinner hair, or if you've got yours in a parting, or you've got, you've shaved your head, got no hair at all, then obviously making sure that you cover up your head either with a hat or with some sort of decent sun cream. The other thing that people forget about as well is something lip balm wise. So you could get SPF lip balms as well to make sure they're protected. And if you've got short hair like me, don't forget the tops of your ears. So all about staying safe, and even when the sun it's a relatively sunny, bright day outside, but even when it's a dull day, if you're out for an hour or two, you are still going to be accumulating quite substantial UVA and UVB kind of radiation from the sun. So, you know, I'm wearing a factor 15 all the time, no matter what I'm doing these days. And if I'm going to be spending longer outdoors than my usual couple of hours a day, then I'll be wearing a higher factor for longer or for brighter sunlight. So something to bear in mind. Happy running.